Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the 30s Diary podcast. I know it has been a while since my last episode. It's been kind of a pretty long week, a chaotic week. I haven't really been able to do a lot of content creation these last few days, which is a good thing. I mean, I think I needed to be with my family during this time. But we're back now, and today's going to be an interesting topic all about this question. Is it really over for women in their 30s? So let's discuss that. And again, this podcast is all about helping you all realize that you're not falling behind in your 30s. Your life is just starting. There's so much to look forward to in your 30s. And again, this whole channel is really about my life in my 30s, how I'm really trying to live the best life possible that I can, and to remind you all that there's so much beauty still left in life, and we're not quote unquote old now just because we're in our third decade of our life, and it really can be such a beautiful time. Let's just get started with this topic because it's a pretty interesting one. And, especially for women, I think that women, there's a lot of pressure to look a certain way in your 30s, to be in a certain point of life in your 30s, and everyone's on their own timeline, and you don't have to live a certain path that everyone wants you to go on or to be a part of just because of what society says or what the culture says. So let's go ahead and get started. Again, feel free to subscribe to this channel, to this podcast, if you like these type of topics and you want to follow me on my journey. I have a lot of videos about, my life and incorporating that with lessons I've learned, beauty, fashion, embracing who I really am in my 30s, embracing how I have found my fashion, how I found my different beauty styles, how I'm finding joy in my life. So feel free to subscribe, and I cannot wait for you guys to join this community because it's going to be so much fun, and it's been amazing so far. So I'm sending you guys so much love for all those who are watching. Okay, so it is quite hot today, guys. So first, let me talk about how I used to view my 30s when I was younger, versus how I feel about my 30s now. So honestly, I thought that people in their 30s had everything together. My mom had me at 32, so I thought that they knew everything and they knew how to really handle life, and they had all the wisdom in the world, and they were already ahead in life, and they knew what they were going to do, what their career was already, and they just had everything together. That's what I really thought when I was younger. And now I kind of view people in their 30s as sort of in that way, we're kind of feeling more stable in our life, and a lot of us are more secure within ourselves. We've gained more wisdom in life. We have experienced new milestones. So in that way, I think it's correct, my viewpoint from when I was younger. But I also think that, people in our 30s and in this era, we are still figuring things out still, and we're still very young at heart, and we still love to have fun, and we still don't know what truly lies ahead in life. We don't have everything figured out. There's still so much more to learn, and we're still making mistakes. We're still growing. And this is interesting. I feel like now in my 30s, I feel like I don't know everything. Whereas when I was younger, I felt like maybe I do know a lot about life, and I'm such an adult. I felt like I knew everything when I was young, but honestly now I'm like, no, that's not true. I don't know everything about life, and I'm still learning so much along the way. So there is that about how I view my 30s now, and it's really a beautiful time, honestly. It really is. And that's why I want to talk about why society thinks that it's over for women in their 30s. So when I mentioned how society thinks that it's over for women in their 30s, I'm saying that the idea comes from media, from family and society. And media And society tells us that is that once you hit your 30s, you should be married, you should have kids, and you should have a house by now, and you should pretty much have everything together, and that your career clock is ticking, like it's just a timeline on everything. That's what society says. And honestly, that is not true at all. Like I had mentioned in my past podcasts, you don't have to be married or have kids in your 30s to feel worthy at all. I mean, I think it's beautiful if you have hit those milestones, but being married and having kids does not define who you are at all. And it does not make you less of a woman. It does not make you unworthy just because you haven't found your partner yet or because you haven't had kids. And yes, I do believe that there is honestly like a biological clock for women, and we should not ignore that at all. But don't just have a child with anyone because you're in your 30s. You know, take your time, and when it comes to dating, when it comes to kids, when it comes to love, take your time. Don't rush and find the next person available, and then you don't get to know that person, and then that person turns out to be immature and aggressive and disrespectful. You really want to get to know the person you're going to be with and spend your life with. Just because you're in your 30s, you don't have to rush any of that. You don't have to rush getting married, choosing the person you're meant to be with. And, you know, I think a lot of millennials and Gen Zs right now are taking their time and healing themselves and learning more about themselves and being aware of the things we have to work on in order to truly be in a healthy relationship. So that's why I think it's great to find your person in your 20s. I think that's so beautiful, but just don't rush it, because it's very dangerous to rush love, because that can really change your life in a drastic way if you're not with the right person. And again, you know, you can get out of horrible situations, of course you can, but you have to just be wise about who you want to spend your life with as well. And that's why, you know, it's not over for women just because they haven't found their person. And also, I don't like the narrative where where society says that women are declining in their 30s and they're no longer attractive, or they don't look the same, like women are the prettiest or most beautiful, whatever, in their 20s. That is not true at all, first of all, because I think that women are really starting to get to know themselves and know who they really are once they're in their 30s. For example, for me in my 20s, I didn't feel the most attractive. I was just getting to know who I was. You know, a lot of people in their 20s are lost in life and figuring out the next steps, and that can lead to a lot of burnout and stress can really show up physically, whether that be in your skin, in your eyes, in your hair, you know, your body. And I think a lot of people in their 20s can be stressed out because of a new transition in their life. So in their 30s, I know that many women have felt a lot more peace, a lot more stability. And when you feel that more, when you really feel that sense of safety within, it really does show up physically as well. And I think that's how I felt in the last couple of years in my life. I feel like I have glowed up. I don't know if that's the right term, but I did glow up ever since I turned 30. I feel a lot more confident in who I am, and I still have so much to work on. But yes, I do feel a lot better in my 30s, and that's why, for me, I think life is just starting. I don't think that my life is over and that I'm uglier and that I'm unworthy. And all that really matters now is that I should be married and have kids and be at the highest in my career and feel like my opportunities are limited, because that is honestly farthest from the truth. But I do know that, you know, society does pressure us women to really think about fertility and marriage and beauty standards. And that's why you see a lot of commercials pushing anti-aging. It does make me really sad when women are just trying to look as young as possible because I think aging is so beautiful, and I think that we don't have to look like how we were in our 20s, you know? I don't look anything up how I looked when I was 22 years old, and we're grown now. Like I have filled out a lot in so many different ways, not just my face, but my body. I'm not as skinny as I used to be. I think I look very different, but I guess in a better kind of way. And I think we should really embrace that. We should embrace the new wrinkles on our faces and the way that our body is becoming a woman. I think that's really beautiful. I think I started to really notice that how my body was changing in my late 20s because I wasn't this little twig that I used to be when I was younger, when I was in my teens and my 20s, because at that time and when I was 27, I was growing into a woman, and I started, getting more thighs and more hips, things like that. And I think now I'm truly embracing the changes and who I really am, because it can be hard. And I'm not saying to not feel any type of emotion about these changes, because it is hard. I mean, it is a change in our physical self, but I think it does take time to really embrace who you are and know that becoming a woman is absolutely beautiful. And being a woman in itself is like one of the greatest gifts, honestly. So now let's talk about women and their careers in their 30s, because I think that this is a time where we're finally starting to realize what we want to do in our life, and we feel the most confident in our careers, what the next steps are going to be. And there's just so much more clarity about our path ahead in our future. And of course, we don't have everything together. We don't know the full on plan, but I think it's because, in your 20s, really you're laying out the foundation, and you're working super hard, and many are really hustling to try to get to the next stages of life to finally feel that security. And so now you're in your 30s and you feel more of that safety, and you feel more of that confidence in what comes next. And let's take a look at Jenna from 13 going on 30. She, when she was 13, she wanted to be 30 so badly. She wanted to have her career all set. She wanted to work in a magazine company, in a high position, and live in a high-rise luxury apartment, which is everything that she had in her 30s when she went forward into the future and realized that she had everything she wanted in her 30s. Of course, there's more to that movie. But I'm just talking about how her life turned out in her 30s and how that is true. Like, she did feel confident in her career. She had a high position in her company, and she felt successful, and she made some good money. I'm just saying that she felt a lot more confident in her 30s. And that can truly happen to a lot of people in their 30s when they start to feel more confident in what they can bring to the table in their specific companies, or they just feel like they know what to do at work. They have a lot more skills now. They have more experience when it comes to working. And so it's not as scary like, when you're first in your teens and 20s, when you're starting to work and be in the real world. And life can be kind of scary when you're just, stepping into the real world and figuring things out. So I do think that, once you hit your 30s, you have more wisdom, and you know the things that life can throw at you, and you start to realize that opportunities can really come to you depending on your mindset and the willingness to take on new opportunities in life. And opportunities don't stop once you hit your 30s at all. I mean, there are so many people in this world that have thrived in their 30s and 40s. Like, for example, we have Vera Wang, who is a fashion designer. She's super iconic. She's a bridal designer. And, she became a fashion designer in her 40s. She was a figure skater in her 30s and a magazine editor. But to be a fashion designer, that takes a lot of determination and a lot of work. But she became a designer in her 40s. And then we have Julia Child, who didn't become a chef until 36, and she published her first cookbook at 49. So there's still so much ahead of you. You can still start your business if you'd like, switch careers. You can go up the corporate ladder. There's no one stopping you. There's so many possibilities out there for you. And age is just a number. Do not let that limit you at all. Another thing that makes life a lot better in your 30s is that because you've gained more wisdom and you've had more life experience, and you've been hurt, you've been heartbroken, you have experienced the good and the bad of life. You've realized that you have to have boundaries in order to live a more peaceful lifestyle. And also, because you've learned so much, you have gained a better understanding of what you truly want in friendships and in relationships as well. And that's what makes being in your 30s a lot better, and that's what gives you more peace, is because you've learned so much. In my 20s, I didn't really know how to have boundaries. I let people walk all over me, say mean things to me, and I didn't know how to really handle that. And I think I'm getting a lot better at it in my 30s, and learning how to say no, and learning what I will and will not tolerate. It just comes with time. And that's why I think that aging is beautiful, because you just learn how to deal with yourself and to have better relationships, and you'll start to really know what you want out of your life. And truly know, because we think we know when we're young, but we don't truly know until we've lived life and we've made mistakes and we realized that maybe we didn't want what we wanted originally in our earlier years of life. That's why, there's a beauty of being more intentional with friendships and love, and also knowing the lifestyle that you want in your life, because I wanted this lifestyle that I have right now in my 20s, but I didn't know how to really live that way because I was still so young and I didn't have the habits that I have now. I didn't, have the job that I have now. I didn't have the relationship that I have now. And life was just different. And that's why I wasn't able to live the life that I live now, because I was kind of a low-key mess at that time. Now I know that this is the lifestyle that makes me the happiest. And I wonder, how do you guys, was your life different when you were in your 20s? Comment down below. I'd love to know, what's different? Do you feel more confident in your 30s? Do you feel happier? Do you feel more security? Let me know down below. So let's talk about actually embracing this decade of your life, being in your 30s, and having more of an empowered mindset to know that it's not over in your 30s. Because I hope that we don't think that. I hope that you guys don't think that it's over. I mean, I think that social media is actually very empowering when it comes to this topic, because there are so many women out there who are in their 30s, 40s, 50s who are honestly killing it. And we can really see that in social media. And I love hearing podcasts about women who are doing so many awesome things in life. And also that, they started a different career path or just life path later in life too. And I think that's so cool. Again, life isn't just a straight path. We can go in all different kinds of directions when it comes to decisions that we make, opportunities that we have, jobs that we have, types of relationships and friendships can lead us in different directions. But yeah, I mean, there's so many different paths as far as quote unquote, finding your happiness and succeeding in life. For me personally, the definition of success has changed throughout the years. I used to think that success was all about having the best job and making the most money and impressing everyone. It was very external. Now, success to me means really living a peaceful life, living a joyful life, having memorable experiences with the people that I love, doing things that I love, having a job that I truly do love, but also knowing that a job is not everything, career is not everything. And what truly matters to me now is like having loving relationships, having a family, like having kids one day is one of my biggest goals in life, and raising my kids to be amazing humans and to be the best mom that I can be. And yeah, just to live every day peacefully and joyfully. It's changed because I've grown and I'm not the same person that I was when I was 20. And again, my 20s wasn't all about, the external and superficial things at all. It was just me trying to find myself, and I thought that I had to go down a certain path in order to be happy, which is not true at all. So that's why, for me personally, I just feel more empowered in my 30s, even though my views have changed in a lot of ways. And I want all of you women to know that there is so much more ahead, and that you're all beautiful. You're not, your looks haven't declined or whatever society tries to tell you. I think honestly, the older you get, the more beautiful you get. The more beautiful you are, actually, like inside and out. Like, I see women in their 60s. I see my women in my family, my mom, like they're so beautiful, and they just know so much more. And it's like the more I want to be friends with older women as well too, because it's just fun. It's just fun talking to women of all different ages. I love older women, but I also love talking to like the young ones too, like teenagers and people in their early 20s. Like, it's nice. It's nice to learn from people of all different ages as well. But again, to me, aging is beautiful, and it's such a blessing because not everyone gets to be in their 30s or 40s and 50s and so on. So aging is a blessing. Don't forget that. And I would also invite you guys to really share your 30s journey and some stories that helped you thrive in your 30s. So comment that down below as well. I would love to know. I think stories like this are super inspiring. It gets me to feel so happy about life and what comes next in life too. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the 30s Diary. And yeah, I cannot wait to continue this series. I'm actually going to be traveling again, guys. Yay! I'm very excited. I'm actually going to go on a cruise. We're leaving on Saturday. So we're going to go on a cruise, and we're going to go to Mexico, which is going to be so much fun. And, I was just in the Philippines. I'm Filipina. I am from the Philippines. My husband is Mexican, so now we're going to go to Mexico. So it's kind of cool because it's like, seeing our two different cultures as well. And I am so excited. I'm very excited. Yeah, I think one of the greatest blessings, at least in this part of my life, is getting to have all these super adventurous experiences with my husband. And it's just been so fun. And I'm happy that we get to do all these things together before we have kids. Of course, I would still love to travel with kids too, because I traveled a lot when I was younger. I was the only child too, which made it a lot easier. But still, I think that it would be a lot of fun to do that in the future. But for right now, I'm really enjoying it, and getting to explore the world and see all different kinds of people, know different kinds of people, love everyone. So I'm so excited. I'm so excited. So I'm going to actually do a lot of videos on the cruise, a lot of videos in Mexico. And yeah, it's going to be a good time. It's going to be an awesome time. So I'll see you guys in the water, I guess. I'll see you guys in the water, and I'll see you guys in Mexico. All right, guys. Bye. Love you.